So this is my 67th Talk to Me Tuesday video, and yeah, I was totally off on my previous video when I thought it was in the 30s, but then later on I went back and checked, and yeah, this is my 67th one, but I haven't really been doing them lately in a consistency, so I showed this last week, and this was the beginning of the knitting, trying to start out how to knit. This was the very beginning, and then as you can see along the way I had some areas where I had holes, and then this was about the end of it that I had. So it got a lot better, and as you can tell, there's really only one hole there. So I learned what I did wrong and how to correct it, and then since I ran out of thread here, and this was just a big huge piece of practice, it wasn't going to be used for anything. I think I will go ahead and just unravel it all and then make dishcloths with it. But I went ahead and I had some Christmassy multicolored yarn. I don't know if it was Lilies and Cream, the other, oh, what is the other brand that's like that? It's the cotton yarn that's always multicolored. It's one of those. And so I started on this last week after I made my last video, and that isn't a hole, by the way. It's just the way the colors change. So I think this is pretty good. I mean, granted, it could have been perhaps a little bit shorter and wider, but as you can tell with the needles that I am using, they're not that long. I end up getting some others because I'm going to start making a scarf, and they are longer, and it's just the one side with the pointed needle. But it's a different size, so I'll just continue to use this for the cotton. And but yeah, I think it looks really good. I really like how sometimes the color, how it changes and how it makes the little I guess ridges stand out more. And I think it looks really unique. I like it actually a lot better than just the regular yarn. But I'm gonna go ahead and bind this off. I just watched a video on the different ways you can do that for the knitting, and but yeah, so I think it came out pretty good considering this is now about a little over a week of my learning a new craft, and I am enjoying the knitting much better than crochet, which I figured it would be the other way around, because I have heard from some people who first learned crochet and then they tried knitting and couldn't get it. And there are quite a few different versions of how to knit, and perhaps it's the confusion with crocheters, because when you crochet, it's usually you're just using one hand or the other, but you're always doing the same motions. And the different versions of the knitting that I've seen so far, I've seen the yarn over, the American, the Norwegian, the English, the continental. Then I think there's even a Spanish version. There's various different ways and how to do it, but I mean, some of them are kind of the same, but they're just showing you in different ways. And so perhaps that's a confusion, that some people think that if they just see it being done for the knitting in one way, that's you have to do it. But I'm doing mine a little bit differently. Having I think mine would be considered yarn over, because when I start out, I'm casting on with this hand but holding the yarn in my right hand, and then I knit with my left hand, but I don't keep the yarn in my left hand like most of the people I've seen when they're using, I guess this is your working hand or your working needle. Just got most of the stitches on it. I tried to do it that way, and I just can't. feels very awkward. And so I actually hold it, and I hold the yarn in my in my right hand. So it is probably quite a bit slower, and I'm just starting out anyways, but it feels more comfortable. And I'm somewhat ambidextrous. I don't know if I pronounced that right, because I am primarily left-handed. You know, I write with my left hand and everything. But I've had growing up, a lot of stuff isn't for left-handers, so you have to just try it with your right hand. And I did try the knitting in my right hand, because I had seen other people do that, although it seems to be, oh sorry, I just got a breaking news thing from the AP. I have seen a few people use their, the right hand as the dominant hand when knitting, although it seems to be that a lot of people use their left hand. But anyways, if there's a certain way that you guys knit that maybe might be different, or maybe it's kind of like a combination or something of the different versions, that might be interesting too. Do you guys have a preference between knitting over crochet or crochet over knitting? I know that I've always heard that you can do quite a bit more stuff with knitting than with crochet. So once I tackled the dishcloths and a few scarves, then I'm going to try socks and perhaps fingerless gloves. So my hands always get cold. But you still need your fingers to be able to do stuff and type and stuff like that sometimes. So take care, everyone. Until next time.